I know you were just watching porn, you sick son of a bitch. The only way you can make up for your disgusting deed is to watch this video all the way to the end. Let's begin, sinners. LA Rams versus Las Vegas. If I told you 5 years ago that Baker Mayfield was commanding the defending world champions in a late season game, you'd shit your britches thinking the Browns had won a Super Bowl. Reality is often cruel, but for one fleeting moment on this Thursday night, the Rams' horrible lost season with the quarterback on his third team in the last 12 months was forgotten. Vegas controlled most of the game, taking a 16-3 lead on an Avicii field goal with 12:20 left. Mayfield had led LA to 3 points on 5 drives to this point. He didn't even start the game as PFT commenter John Wolford got the nod, but he went out after the first series in 3 handoffs. Anyway, what transpired over the final 12 minutes was nothing short of jaw-dropping as Mayfield led a 17-play, 75-yard touchdown drive to make it 16-10 with 3:19 left. Vegas played pussy ball, running 3 times and punting, giving the Cheesecake Factory enjoyer a minute 45 left and 98 yards to drive for the win. A few dumb Las Vegas penalties kept the drive alive, and then Mayfield did what all quarterbacks should do. He threw that fucking ball deep into tight coverage like a man. The first for a 32-yard gain, and then a beautiful game-winning touchdown throw of 23 yards to Van Jefferson with 10 seconds left to win 17-16. It was yet another inexplicable blown lead for the Raiders this season under Tom Brady's former coffee boy. As a proud NFL historian, I can say this was easily the most impressive and greatest comeback from being down 16-3 in the fourth quarter since Dan Marino in the 1990 playoffs versus Kansas City. I can't think of any other notable instances of this happening. Baltimore versus Pittsburgh. The NFL equivalent of a shitty-ass Big Ten rivalry game. This went about exactly how you'd expect. Shit quarterback play, lots of runs, some punts, and some field goals. God, I'm getting wet just talking about it. Lamar Jackson was already not playing, and then Kenny Kitten Mittens went out after 2 drives, so it became a matchup of titty respecter Mitch Trubisky and Tyler Huntley. Baltimore took a 10-0 lead thanks to J.K. Dobbins, but Pittsburgh responded with a Najee Harris score to make it 10-7 after 1. Not a bad start, but the final 3 quarters would see just 13 combined points. Things got worse when Huntley got hurt midway through the third, giving way to Madden creative player third-string quarterback Anthony Brown. Pittsburgh had the ball down 13-7 to start the fourth quarter, but it ended with a blocked field goal. Baltimore then pushed their lead to 16-7 with 3 minutes left. Then Trubisky finally got Pittsburgh in the end zone again on a touchdown pass to Pat Freiermuth after throwing 3 interceptions earlier in the game. But Baltimore ran out the clock on their final possession to seal this orgasmic 16-14 win. Pittsburgh will have to win out to avoid Mike Tomlin's first losing season in 16 years as a head coach. They desperately miss Ben Roethlisberger's integrity in that locker room. Philadelphia versus New Jersey. First off, this game should have never even happened. It is unfair to a terrible organization like the New Jersey Giants to put them on the same field as a first-class juggernaut like my Philadelphia Eagles. So what transpired was no surprise. Before you could blink, Jalen MVP Hurts had Philly up 21-0, thanks to a Miles Sanders touchdown run and 2 bombs to Devonta Smith and A.J. Brown. The Eagles are sadists, so they let New Jersey temporarily have hope midway through the third when a Danny Jones touchdown run made it 27-14 before they said enough. Hurts then ran for a 10-yard score to make it 34-14 after 3. Then Sanders broke off a 40-yard touchdown to make it 41-14. Then Boston Scott got in on the fun with a touchdown run to make it 48-14 with 3 minutes left. But much like Xerxes from 300, the Eagles are gracious gods, so they allowed the Giants to score a worthless touchdown and 2-point conversion to make the final score 48-22. I've said all year the Giants were frauds, and this Eagles team, now at 12-1 and with a playoff berth clinched, are elite. Unfortunately, the media, which is largely an anti-Eagles deep state operation, won't give us our credit until we win in the playoffs, so we'll just have to do that. I can't wait for our second ring in 6 years. Fly, Eagles, fly, baby. Dallas versus Houston. The Cowboys are the most overrated franchise in sports, but every now and again, they do provide some comedic value. Things in this game started off as you'd expect between a 9-3 team and a team that's 1-10-1. Tony Pollard gave Dallas a 7-0 lead, but Houston answered with a Dameon Pierce touchdown. Houston even kicked a field goal to go up 10-7 after 1. Okay, whatever, it's just 1 quarter, and Dallas retook the lead on a Pollard touchdown catch from Prescott, to make it 14-10. Everything's cool, but wait a minute, Packers cast off Amari Rodgers, then caught a 28-yard touchdown pass from Jeff fucking Driscoll to give Houston a 17-14 lead late in the first half. Okay, that's odd, but Dallas kicked a field goal to tie it at 17, but Houston then snuck in another field goal to take a 20-17 halftime lead. Cowboys fans were surely shitting their jeans shorts now, especially after Houston took a 23-17 lead into the fourth. Dallas trimmed that to a 23-20 lead, and then finally, luckily for Cowboys fans, Houston reverted back into Houston. The combo of Davis Mills and Driscoll had 3 drives, up 3 points in the fourth quarter to put the game away, and failed each time. Dakota Fanning Brady finally put Dallas ahead on his 4th drive in the fourth quarter when Ewok Elliott ran it in to go up 27-23 with 41 seconds left. Human draft Mills would throw up a Hail Mary attempt at the very end, but it was picked to give Dallas an embarrassing win. Props to Houston for holding Micah Parsons, aka Pass Rush Limbaugh, to 0 sacks and 0 tackles for loss. I can't wait for Dallas to lose early in the playoffs again. Jacksonville versus Tennessee. The Trevor Lawrence arrival might finally be here after 1.5 seasons of mostly shit play. The generational prospect is playing great over the last month, and this game might have been his best yet. Sure, the Titans' pass defense is softer than the French, no offense, but it's nice to see Trevor, whose real first name is William, start to come into his own. No offense to Jim from American Pie. Tennessee had a 14-7 lead after one, but Jacksonville dominated from that point on, going on a 29-0 run which featured 2 Lawrence touchdown passes, a Lawrence touchdown run, and 3 field goals to go up 36-14 early in the fourth. Tennessee got a touchdown pass and 2-point conversion to make it 36-22 with 7 minutes left, but couldn't get anything out of their final drive that stalled out with 2 minutes left to effectively end the game. I truly believe that if Lawrence continues to improve and stays healthy, he can one day be as good as Kirk Cousins. I know, Jaguars fans, that's pretty high praise, but I'm willing to say it because I'm a hero. The Titans, meanwhile, remain the most irrelevant 7-6 first-place team ever. Buffalo versus the Jets. Say whatever you want about the Jets, but they have made life hard on Josh Allen and the Bills this year. The first half of this game was a snooze fest, as both teams punted on each of their first 5 possessions before Josh Allen finally broke the seal by finding Dawson Knox for a touchdown to go up 7-0 at halftime. Allen's counterpart, Mike White, had a hell of a day. Not statistically, but literally it was hell. He pretty much died twice, but kept coming back into the game for more punishments. The teams exchanged touchdown runs in the third to make it 14-7 Buffalo, then Buffalo added a field goal to go up 17-7 entering the final stanza. Another Buffalo field goal extended the lead to 20-7, but New York's offense, led by an injured White, no offense to John F. Kennedy, couldn't muster up much of anything. They got a safety off a blocked punt out of the end zone to make it 20-9, and then a field goal to make it 20-12 with 1:18 left, but the onside kick failed and they lost. New York is now 7-6, and their defense is legit, but Mike White is hurt, and the AFC East is loaded. I never thought I'd say that. Their playoff hopes are fading fast. Buffalo is currently the 1 seed, but they aren't as imposing as they were a month or 2 ago, in my opinion. Well, unless you're blind. No offense to Stevie Wonder. Detroit versus Minnesota. Last season, Kirk Cousins and the Vikings went into Detroit against an 0-10-1 team and lost. Surely that wouldn't happen again this year, right? Wrong. This Lions team actually has a good offense, and Jared Goff had one of his best games in a while. Detroit took a 7-0 lead on a 41-yard touchdown catch by first-round pick Jameson Williams on his very first NFL play. Minnesota responded with a Dalvin Cook touchdown to make it 7-all after 1, but Detroit really remained in control for the rest of the day. Goff threw back-to-back touchdowns to give Detroit a 21-7 lead late in the third, but Kirk refused to go down quietly, no offense to Lisa Ann, finding scrappy hard worker Adam Thielen for a touchdown to make it 21-13 entering the fourth. The fourth started with Detroit's Justin Jackson breaking off a 15-yard touchdown run to go up 28-13. The teams exchanged field goals, then Kirk found KJ Osborne to make it 31-23 with 2:50 left. Detroit converted a third down and then kicked a game-sealing 48-yard field goal with 22 seconds left to win 34-23. Minnesota is now 10-3 with a negative point differential somehow, because nothing can ever be normal when Kirk Cousins is involved. Cincinnati versus Cleveland. On this week's edition of To Catch a Predator, Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals welcomed Deshaun Watson into town and made sure he didn't have a happy ending. Both teams did nothing in the first quarter before Burrow finally found Jamar Chase for a score to go up 7-0. A Cleveland field goal was immediately answered with another Cincy touchdown run by Samaje Perine to go up 13-3 at halftime. Cincy then expanded that lead to 20-3 midway through the third on a 45-yard touchdown pass from Burrow's Cockiner to Trenton Irwin. Groper Cleveland finally threw his first touchdown pass with the Browns to David Njoku to make it 20-10 entering the fourth, where Cleveland kicked a field goal to go up 23-10. Cincy's defense told Watson to have a seat over there after picking him off on his first fourth quarter drive and then forcing him to turn it over on downs on his second and third fourth quarter drives. Usually, Watson likes it when somebody turns him over and puts their hands on his balls, but not in this case. Also, shout out to amateur boxer Joe Mixon for his 96 rushing yards on 14 carries. Carolina versus Seattle. In the Jets Rejects Bowl between Geno Smith and Sam Darnold, it was Darnold, grandson of Dick Hammer, I'm not trolling, that's an actual fact, who started off on fire, giving Carolina a 17-0 lead early in the second quarter before Geno got rolling. Smith would find Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf for touchdowns to make it 20-14 at halftime. Seattle got it down to 20-17 in the third and had 2 drives down 3 with the chance to take the lead, but couldn't do anything with the ball. Carolina said enough and just started brutally pounding Seattle on the ground, running for 68 yards on the drive, capped off with an 8-yard touchdown run by a guy with a Red Dead Redemption character sounding name, Raheed Blackshear, to go up 27-17. Seattle punted, Carolina added the field goal to go up 30-17. Then Geno led a vanity-inspired, worthless touchdown drive to make it 30-24 before the onside kick failed to lose the game. Carolina is at 5-8 and will make the playoffs if they win out. Seattle is 7-6 and currently out of the playoffs. The playoff system is fucked. Kansas City versus Denver. This game was a great example of why the NFL is fucking unpredictable and why we as a society continue to accept it despite the fact that it's objectively a brutal sport run by objectively terrible people. Kansas City was on fire going up 20-0 midway through the second quarter against the worst offense in the league. A 47-yard pick six off of Gus Fring put KC up 27-0 late in the first, and this game was over until it wasn't. Mahomes then threw back-to-back terrible interceptions, and Denver actually capitalized on both of them with touchdowns in the span of 2 minutes to make it 27-14 at halftime. That then became a 27-21 game when Fring found Marlon Mack for a 66-yard score early in the third. Denver had 2 drives down 6 in the third to take a lead, but punted both times. KC finally got shit back on track with a Mahomes touchdown to Juju Smith-Schuster to go up 34-21 after 3 quarters, but Denver still kept fighting, even after Wilson left the game with a concussion, as his backup, Brett Rippin' Ass, found Jerry Jeudy for Judy's 3rd score of the day to make it 34-28 early in the 4th. The teams exchanged punts, then Mahomes threw another terrible interception. Luckily for Mahomes, though, Rippin' Ass threw an interception too, and then Mahomes ran out the final 4 minutes to hang on to an unimpressive 34-28 win. We have reached the point where saying Jalen Hurts is the MVP is no longer a laughing matter to anybody with any brain cells. San Francisco versus Tampa Bay. My crippling depression about Jimmy Garoppolo not playing in this game was quickly erased by the 49ers taking Tom Brady back outside behind the woodshed like he was Old Yeller. God damn, the entire time this game was on, I was just rock hard, baby. San Fran took a 7-0 lead on a Deebo Samuel touchdown run, and Tampa's shit offense, led by Brady, continued to be shit. Only on this day, his defense, which has bailed him out for years and kept him in the game, didn't show up either. Even without Jimmy G, the 49ers still had a Purdy quarterback who ran for a score to go up 14-0, and then threw back-to-back touchdowns to go up 28-0 at halftime. Once the classy daughter-dating, deceptively athletic gym rat Christian McCaffrey broke off a 38-yard touchdown run to go up 35-0 early in the third, the game was over, even considering that this was a Kyle Shanahan team going against Tom Brady. Even Tampa's lone touchdown was by mistake, a tipped ricochet that should have been picked, but instead was caught to make it 35-7 entering the fourth, where both teams just went through the motions. Tampa fell to 6-7, but remains in first place in the horrific NFC South. San Fran improves to 9-4 and looks like the second best team in the NFL behind Philly. I desperately want to say Brady is washed for good, since he's played like it all year, but I said that about him after 2019, then he went to Tampa and won another ring. I'm always mentally prepared to see him win his 8th ring by a score of 7-3 or some shit this year. Still, for one Sunday, it was nice to see a team actually not shit down their leg against him. If only it happened way more often in the playoffs throughout his career, goddammit. LA Chargers versus Miami. Thanks to Justin Herbert's disappointing season, statistically, and Tua Tagovailoa's ascension, actual debates have been had heading into this game about who the better quarterback is. People, to and on, will still debate, but on this night there was no debate, as Herbert greatly outplayed Tua. LA went up 10-0 on a touchdown pass from Herbert to Mike Williams, then children's rights activist Tyreek Hill scored on a fucked up fumble play to make it 10-7. LA went up 17-7 at halftime on an Austin Eckler touchdown run, then Tua finally connected with Hill on a 60-yard bomb to make it 17-14. LA responded with a field goal to make it 20-14. Miami had 2 drives down 6 to take the lead, but punted both times, leading to a long-ass Chargers drive that was almost fumbled away, but ended in another field goal to go up 9 with 3 minutes left. Miami kicked a field goal with 1:15 left to make it 23-17, and their onside kick almost worked, but in the end failed to lose. Herbert completed 39 passes for 367 yards. That looks nice, but that's still a brutal 9.4 yards per completion. Yeah, he won, but the larger problem remains. The Chargers have a top 3 arm talent ever, and they're treating him like Chad Pennington. It's disgusting. Let him throw deep. Move him out of the pocket more. Do something to take advantage of his golden arm. I'll sum it up like this. The Dolphins call plays like they have a quarterback with Justin Herbert's arm talent, and the Chargers call plays like they have a quarterback with Tua Tagovailoa's arm talent. Fuck checkdowns. They must be banned. New England versus Arizona. This Monday Night Football battle went south quickly, no offense to Monica Lewinsky, as Kyler Murray suffered a serious knee injury just a few plays in, leaving Colt McCoy to lead the charge for for Arizona the rest of the game. To nobody's shock, both teams struggled offensively most of the night, as there were no points scored in the first quarter by anybody. Arizona struck first with a field goal before New England finally answered with a touchdown run to go up 7-3. Arizona then ripped off 10 straight points, including a James Conner touchdown run to go up 13-7. There were two key plays that decided this game. The first came late in the first half when Arizona had a chance to kick a field goal to go up 16-7 at halftime, but they decided to go for it on 4th and 1 instead and didn't make it. New England then immediately kicked a field goal to make it 13-10 at halftime, a 6-point swing. Another New England field goal tied the game at 13 early in the third before the biggest play of the night occurred, when hotel room respecter DeAndre Hopkins had a fumble return for a Patriots touchdown. After this, Arizona never got anything going offensively. The fumble was followed by an interception, then New England added another touchdown to go up 27-13 early in the fourth. The fourth was mostly just Colt McCoy being sacked and abused and thrown around like a rag doll. It really stinks that such an awesome name like Colt McCoy was wasted on a shitty quarterback. Anyway, the Patriots won to improve to 7-6. They'd be in first place in the NFC South, but they play in a real division, so they're now in third place in the AFC East. But let's be real, New England's offense is terrible, and they wouldn't do shit in the playoffs even if they do make it. As for Arizona, not only is this season lost, but next season might be as well with Kyler's injury. Will they keep Cliff? Should they keep Cliff? I don't know. I wouldn't. What really matters is that he's not even that handsome anymore. He looks so stressed and has bags under his eyes. Totally gross. Enough about football. It's the moment you've all been waiting for. It's mother puppin' puppy time.